Hello, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Cheers to a Tuesday under our belt. Hey, let me get my little table thing here set up. My little soapbox riser for my OGP, my Olive Garden pour of wine here. While we're waiting on folks to join, I remind y'all to go to coopedup.com to check out what I put there, sign up for my email newsletter, all that kind of stuff. If you are on other social platforms, I'm Cooped Up is my handle in most places. Click the bell wherever you're watching or listening to this, because this is also broadcast as a replay on all of the major podcasting platforms, just so that you know that I'm there. And last but not least, if you ever want to text me, 214-949-8599 is the number. Just ask me a question. I send out blasts about things. It's not spammy, just things I think you might want to know about. Hey, Mama. Good to see ya. Anyway, so how'd your day go? How's everyone doing? I have a virtual benefit tonight. It's actually a VIP reception for a virtual benefit that is in 2 weeks. It's the helpusadopt.org Faces of Adoption event that's in 2 weeks. But tonight is the VIP reception, and it's virtual, which is great. I'm so excited about that because I can just throw on maybe a little dress shirt over this, if even that. I've got my sweatpants on, my French Terry sweatpants. I'm loving it. Also, 30 minutes is the maximum time that they promised it would go. Love that about it too, because there was a time when it was like, oh, Todd and Eric, if he was watching this, he can agree. He can relate to this too. It was like, okay, Tuesday we have this, Thursday we have this, Wednesday we have, all these things that we had to go to and all that kind of stuff. And it takes like 30 minutes to get ready, 20 minutes to get there. Next thing you know, it's the whole fucking evening. With this, I can just log on to a little Zoom thing. They're going to be showing us like some mixology stuff. I think there's a little bit of a live auction going as well, and I think a magic trick or something. So I'm in 30 minutes in and out, done. Yes. And I'll have to leave my house. So and Eric's saying sometimes we would have 3 events the same night. I know, I agree. And, even when stuff returns, I think I'm going to cut back significantly on what I feel is my obligation to go to all of these things. I think that I can support you in many ways without having to physically be in your presence. So, obviously, I will prioritize certain things. Actually, I'm on the host committee for something that Eric is hosting in a few weeks. It's actually an in-person event, and I'm excited about it because I'm of the opinion now that every adult, can protect themselves at this point, and if you choose not to, Darwinism is not my problem anymore. So, what's up, honey bunny? Michelle is saying. Sandy, gonna listen in the car. Yay! Good to see you. So, did any of y'all, for those, I don't know who had storms last night. I know here in Dallas, we had crazy storms last night, at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And it was more loud than anything else. They were so loud, just thunder and just all lightning and thunder and lightning and all that kind of stuff. I guess it always goes the other order. So I woke up from that, and then from that point on, and then I had to pee. And then from that point on, I just kind of woke up like every 30 minutes. And I was exhausted this morning. I dropped the kids off and fell asleep on a chair for a little bit. That is never a good way to start a morning. Because like I've told y'all many times, I am a grumpy napper. So I wake up from a nap and I am like not in my right frame of mind for about an hour. So poor people who work for me. It was so loud though. Just the thunderclacks were so loud. Like scary so almost. But anyway, but we survived. I don't think that I didn't see any damage, so I'm assuming there wasn't any, that it was all fury. Michelle says, I sleep through every thunderstorm. I typically do as well. I am a heavy sleeper. I typically sleep through most storms. Our whole family has slept through the tornado alarm going off up the hill from our house. Like literally just around the corner and 2 blocks up. Just totally slept through it. So In other news, a family of 4 died in Kessler Park in the hurricane, or the tornado. Normally, I just am okay with it, but last night, something about it, it was just so loud and bright, like lots of lightning too, if I recall. Some of it maybe, I have these dreams now, I've talked about this before if Jody's on. When I drink and then take my CBD, they're not scary dreams, they're just hyper realistic. And I think I was having one last night that had rattlesnakes in it, if I remember correctly, because we talked about snakes yesterday, and then I saw something else about snakes, and I think it was too much in my subconscious. Aaron's like, what thunderstorm? Sleeping. Did you, speaking of like reptiles and stuff, did you see that Fukushima, that is that nuclear power plant in Japan that melted down, how long, 10 years ago? How long ago was that? Was it that long ago? We're to the point now where everything just feels like it was 2 to 3 years ago. I saw a meme about that earlier, and it really resonated. It was like, no, that happened in 1999. Oh, I thought that was just 2 years ago. But that Fukushima nuclear power plant that melted down, so they are now planning to, or have started, again, this is news-ish, keep that in mind, they have started to pour the water, the irradiated water that was used in like the cooling towers or whatever, they're going to, or have started pouring it into the Pacific Ocean. Because I guess it can be diluted or whatever. My whole thing on that is, don't the Japanese people watch their own fucking movies? I think that we have had this happen before. His name is Godzilla. And he came out and terrorized the town afterwards. So I'm like, no, don't do that. And we had to call King Kong to stop him. Have y'all seen that movie yet? Supposedly it was fantastic. Like, friends of mine saw that there's Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla. I think it's the former. Came out on streaming as well as movie theaters. It's like the biggest movie to come out since all of this happened, which that's damnation by faint praise, perhaps. But a lot of friends of mine saw it, streamed it at home, which I still want an in-house movie theater after all of this. They streamed it in their homes, and they were like, it was a fucking good movie. Like not just a good movie for that genre, but it was legit a good movie. I don't know. We watched Rampage over the weekend. Or no, was it this weekend? Maybe it was this weekend. Maybe. No, it wasn't this weekend. Mason was grounded this weekend. So it must have been last weekend. We watched Rampage, which is the Dwayne Johnson. And, I can smell what The Rock is cooking, and I love everything about it. But Dwayne Johnson, it's a movie version of the video game that we played as kids called Rampage, where there's all these giant creatures, a wolf, monkey or ape or whatever, gorilla, an alligator. What else was there? Some sort of bird, I think, maybe. All this stuff. And they made a movie version of it. At the end, it's an old movie, so I'm going to tell you how it ends. The monkey, the gorilla, saves the day. And then you think he dies. This literally from a Dwayne Johnson movie. I am full face of tears about this gorilla who saved the world dying at the end. And then it turns out he was faking it because he's an asshole gorilla who actually likes to make bad jokes. But I was like, even the kids who they know I laugh about everything, or cry about everything rather, they were like, really? Like this is not the movie to have tears over. Monica's saying Donkey Kong. No, it wasn't. It was Rampage that we watched. Unless those are the same fucking movie. We watched Rampage. I know that. Dwayne Johnson is a gorilla trainer at like the San Diego Zoo. There's this big white gorilla named, what's his name? Buddy? I don't know what his name was. But anyway. And then there was the spaceship, or the International Space Station thing blew up and sent some poison down, and these animals ate it. One landed in the Everglades, and it made this big old alligator and all that kind of stuff. And then they somehow all ended up in Chicago. I don't remember that, but we played Donkey Kong. By the way, y'all, thank you for that reminder, Monica. If you have an Apple subscription, so like I have the Apple Plus, which is Apple Music, the storage, What else is it? Other kinds of stuff in it. Fitness is part of it, but one of the things that it comes with also is Apple Arcade. I'm not a huge video game player, but it has got some old school. It's got Donkey Kong on it. It's got Frogger on it. It's got Pac-Man. It's got a revamped version of Pac-Man that is really fun. That you have to play against other people and you eat them or something, like Cannibal Pac-Man. It's got this golf game that I am like obsessed with. Like I could play this golf game. It's like miniature golf. I love miniature golf. It's like the miniature golf game. I could play it for like hours at a time. And I actually suck at it because I can't get my things right. I either hit it way too hard or hit it way too soft because it's all kinds of stuff. Turn your gym membership into a movie ticket. I know. I should change my gym into a movie theater. It's already... That part of the house is actually half submerged. There's only little windows. I could totally do that. But then that... I don't think Todd would go for turning the gym into a movie theater because then that admits total failure to... Even though neither of it... Like I said, we're not members of the gym in our own house. It fully acknowledges that we're not going to do that. So... Ooh, Monica's saying Jellystone, where we're going this weekend, has mini golf. We may have to wear a parka to do it, though. So the weather report, y'all, I'm upset about it. So we're going to Kerrville, Texas this weekend. We're leaving on Friday, and we're coming back on Monday. Monica is leaving on Friday and going to go back to her house on Sunday because they don't have Monday off from school unless you just decide to skip out. Sunday night's only like $25. But the weather report is shitty this weekend. Like, the high at this point, granted, this is Texas. It could change because it already changed like 3 times anyway. But on Saturday, the weather report is the high is 58 degrees and cloudy and windy. That's going to be some cold-ass shit, y'all. And this place has like water slides. I was just, and it's on the Guadalupe River. So I was going to like get in the river and have fun with that. And all that. I assume we can get in the river there. So, anyway, y'all are skipping next Friday. So y'all going to be there earlier on Friday. Oh, that's news to me. I love hearing that. I wish we could leave earlier. I should see about just moving the kids' global entry thing. I bet I could. Noted. I'm going to do that. Because it's like a hard 6 hours for us to get there. We discovered that Todd had the settings wrong on the navigation thing. And he had it set, I was going like 75 miles an hour down our street, down the main street, all of that. So there's some weird setting. Or you're skipping next Friday. Do you mean next Friday, like the Friday we're together, or next Friday, like a week from Friday? Because I know we don't agree on the meaning of next Friday. Now, next Friday is not the next Friday, but the Friday after. Yeah, okay. See, I catch it in these things sometimes. You say you don't think that is the big deal. The big news of the day, by the way, was that they have paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And, some people are like all freaked out about it and all that kind of stuff. So there's a couple of thoughts on that. First of all, there were 6 cases out of the 7 million doses, I think. I've got it written down. 6 cases out of the 7 million doses that have developed this like blood clotting thing. And it's all women, and they're all under the age of, I think, 50 or 55. So they're kind of isolating it to that, right? That doesn't maybe ease the minds of 18 to 55-year-olds, women. But anyway, but the way to look at it is, first of all, it's a super rare event. The blood clotting, it's like a 1 in a million chance. That's like getting struck by lightning. Now, granted, if you're the one being struck by lightning, it's a whole different story. You have a 1 in 100 chance of ending up in the hospital if you catch COVID. So that's a big trade-off. And it's something like, and again, this is news-ish, I think it was like from COVID, you already have like a 1 in 300 chance of having the same blood clotting disorder that happens. Super rare, all that kind of stuff. So they're pushing pause, and I was reading an article earlier today that was saying, hey, everyone, just chill the fuck out about this. That it shows our safety monitoring system is working, that we're able to see this, pause things, check them out. Most of the doctors are actually not convinced that this is caused by that because even some of the placebos were having this same thing happen to people in the study group. So we'll see how that goes. Aaron's like, oh no, not the next Friday debate again. I know. Friday is this coming Friday. Next Friday is the next Friday. I agree with that. We're gonna get back into this. I thought you were like next Friday is whatever Friday is next, which would be the whatever the date is, the 16th, the 19th, or whatever, in 3 days. And I'm of the opinion next Friday is not this Friday, it is the next one. So, people do not agree with that. That is, for those of you who have not been following along, all along, sorry, dropped my marker, that has been a debate for the ages here at Cooped Up. Anyway, so supposedly they're telling people don't freak their shit out about this Johnson & Johnson thing. They're just hitting pause. They actually think it'll be remedied within like 3 to 4 days where they can get back up. They're stopping just to make sure that they're checking stuff out. And but Ryan is saying his parents' neighbor is in Baylor and has been there for 10 days after a few hours after the J&J vaccine. Is this person prone to dramatics and stuff like that, or does this seem unusual? Because I know friends who've gotten sick, but they are people who they get sick from everything. So that's why I was asking that. But the thing also said that if you were 10 days out, I guess, that you have, like you're totally out, 10 days to 14 days, something like that, you're totally out of the woods on this blood clotting thing too. So, what else? There was an article that I saw, and I meant to bring it up here, and I don't think it's not in all my paper stacks here. The Dallas Business Journal, one of their cover stories was about how companies, talking to executives, how companies are deciding when to go, when to open their offices, how to open their offices, and all that kind of stuff. And they had a couple people on there where the replies were kind of dickish, and it was not just men. It was men and women who were doing this. But one of them, and I think this one was a woman actually, was like, we closed for a week in March, and then we reopened after that. And sure, we've had COVID cases, but we've just dealt with it as we've needed to. Send people home, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that is very, very callous. That is what about and it wasn't like a retail place. This was like an office or like an architecture firm or something like that where they could have done that. But I am just like how callous, like totally disregarding the fear of people going in the office. And this is the thing. Yeah, we've had cases, but we've just dealt with them as needed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be looking for a new job if that's the case. And I think that probably will happen at some point. People are like, you're a dick. I don't want to work for you anymore. And then, what else was there about? Someone else was kind of the same. They're like, we just can't do our job without being together. And again, it was like a real estate office or something. It's like, okay, most of you are out and about anyway. So I don't know. I think it was more that she didn't want to stay home. Jonathan is saying 1 in a million women of menstruating age are at risk. Yes, it's 1 in a million of that. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Menstruating age. Yes. Okay. I don't know that I've said menstruation very often on this show, but there's the first for everything. And Julie is now 20 days out from her J&J, so she is clot-free by now and COVID-safe by next Friday. That's good. Anyway, what do y'all think about the offices opening? I mean, so I've told my staff that now that everyone is vaccinated, we can go back if you've had the vaccine and you are fully vaccinated, you can come back whenever you want, right? It's not a mandatory thing. I strongly recommend you get it. It's not mandatory, but you can't breathe my air unless you've been vaccinated, right? You can continue working from home or whatever. And none of them want to work from home. They're all sick of it. But then, I just saw your comment, Eric. Eric is like, please do not use that word again, Jonathan. Menstruation, you don't like that word? It's such a horrible word. Like, just, I mean, not that the thing is horrible or not horrible or the beauty of life or whatever, but like just the word that they chose to describe that, just, ugh. It's just a weird word. But what was I saying? Oh, but like other people who have had to go back, we went back for a short time optionally, and then COVID cases started going up, and I'm like, nope, it's too risky. Y'all, people were starting to have close calls. A lot of people were having to be tested for direct exposure. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Todd's office is closed until the summer at the very least. January 1, I think, is when they are going back. And then I've seen major corporations and such going to like the fall even already. So we'll see. Remember this time last year we were like, oh, this is so cute and fun and an adventure. And then when they were like, you might not be able to go back until July, everyone was like, no, there's no way. There's no way. Now we're talking about the next July. Childbearing age. That is a better way to put it. Yes. You know that phrase, no good deed goes unpunished? So maybe that's not exactly the right sentiment for this, but it's kind of in that same vein. I've had a couple of things happen in the last few days that I am like, bitch, I'm trying to help you. Or it's free, or whatever. So one of the things that I had happen was, I've helped close to 300 people at this point identify appointments, secure appointments, whatever you want, guided them to appointments at this point, right? And so I had someone contact me to help, and I was like, okay, I'm happy to help you. Like, where do you live? All that kind of stuff, so I can try to find one close to you. And they're like, and I was like, what brand was? Because they just needed the second dose. It's like, what brand was your first dose? Well, I don't know. And I started thinking, I was like, how does someone not? I feel like that is the question of the year. I feel like every time you go up to someone and the vaccination question, maybe this is just city talk, I don't know. But the vaccination, are you vaccinated? Did you get your vaccination? How'd you do it? Blah, blah, blah. What brand you get? And then people are like starting to like rank people by the brand that they got and all that kind of stuff. Like I've seen memes about this too. But to not even know, and then I was like, well, where's your card? I don't know, I can't find it. I lost it. I'm like, how'd you lose your fucking card? Like, you obviously don't have a passport. So he found it. Turns out he had Pfizer. I've helped him find a spot. But that was one thing that I'm just like, what? Like, dude, you got to help me help you, please. And then the other thing is I have at my office in the backyard this little wooden structure. It looks sort of like an outhouse. It's been there for years. I don't know why they put it in the middle of it. Literally, it's the size of a phone booth, or an outhouse. It sits up on risers, and it's just like rustic wood. It's got everything short of like the little cutout of the moon in the side of it, right? And I'm like, I want to get rid of this thing. I'm tired of looking at it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to like knock things off my list. It takes 3 years to do, but who's counting? And so I put it on Facebook for people in the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you can have it for free. Just come and get it. Well, people are now like, well, I'm interested. Can you send me the exact measurements and blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, here's the address. Go look at it. Well, I don't really want to go look at it. Can't you just send me the measurements? I'm like, no, next. So it's a free fucking shed. And I've gone through like 3 people now who want it. Anyway, Michelle is claiming that her neurologist, or she's saying her neurologist claims that Pfizer is the absolute best one. See, I've heard Moderna has like 10 times the power of the Pfizer one. Like the actual like potency of the Moderna one is like, that's why people are getting so much sicker from the Moderna one than the Pfizer one, because it is so much stronger. But what do any of them know? That's part of the thing about, that is kind of weird, is that we're kind of figuring out as we go. But anyway, just bring it over here. I'm sure our dogs can figure out a way to get rid of it for you. Oh, my sister. This is the week, Monica, of you and people adjacent to you having animal issues. So Monica texted me this morning that her kitten has returned. By the way, her kitten was killed by her dogs like 3 weeks ago. That her kitten was back. And I was like, what? I was confused by it. So her dogs keep going and finding this poor little buried kitten, digging it up and bringing it back. Digging it, some fucking pet cemetery bullshit. So they're going to have to go dig a deep ass hole way back in the back 40 of their property and do that. And it reminded me of the two jokes that I've seen circulating recently. One is about the lady who had her dog show up with a rabbit. Oh, it's returned 3 times now, Mike has said. Yeah, that's crazy. Your dogs are really good hunting dogs. Maybe you should train them to like find truffles or something. But there's a story about this woman whose dogs showed up with a dead rabbit, and she recognized it as her neighbor's rabbit. And it wasn't bloody, it was just kind of dirty, and so she washed it off, went back and put it in the pen in the backyard and snuck back, like trying to get out of admitting to this. She hears this blood-curdling scream a couple hours later from her neighbor's house, and her neighbor is like, "Oh my God, my rabbit died 2 weeks ago and I buried it." And it's freaking her out, right? So that's one of the things that I thought was hilarious. And then there was another one I saw that was a girl, and y'all probably seen this one, about a girl who is texting her best friend, like, that she pooped in the toilet at her new boyfriend's house, or this guy's dating house, and it somehow clogged the toilet, so she fished out the poop and put it in a litter box that was right next to the toilet, and just thought nothing of it. And the boyfriend, or it's not boyfriend, it was like a date, comes out and is like, "Did you poop in my litter box?" And she's like, "No, why? Why would you say that? That's insane. Like, how could you say that?" And he's like, "Well, my cat died 2 weeks ago." Can you imagine? No, these are jokes, but anyway, that is hilarious. Eek, that dead cat story is almost worse than the word menstruation, almost. Oh, and they took out a guinea, one of your birds today. Man, you need to have a cemetery section of your house, your property, and just electrify the shit out of that, right? Crazy. And one last thing I want to leave you with. I read an article earlier today that was, I don't suffer anxiety. I've never been an anxious person. I typically make decisions very confidently, and I'm confident in my ability to deal with the outcome of my decisions for the most part. I don't second guess things a lot. Usually I just go with my gut, and whatever feels like common sense is the right direction, I'm going to go that direction. If there's another fork in the road, I'll make another choice. If there's another fork in the road, I'll make another choice. And I don't think about the other things. I'm very good at that. Sometimes to a fault that I don't overthink things. But for anxious people, they think about like all of the parallel universes that might be created by every single decision. And there was an article I saw today that was very interesting to me, in that they were like 2 words. 2 words can help you get over that. It may be an oversimplification, but it was like, so what? And so every time you have a decision or something happens, or like, it's especially people who replay like embarrassing situations in their mind over and over. It's like saying, so what? So what if I did that? Like, what was the outcome? So what? So what? I just like that. I thought that was like a good moral for the day. Something to end with here. So, anyway, let me look in the comments real quick to make sure I did not miss anything. We got talk of menstruation. We got talk of murdered cats and guineas. We got talk of blood clotting and women of childbearing age. We have talked about mutant animals. That we've just run the gamut today, haven't we? Well, I think that is all I have got for the day. So, Carrie, I don't know if she's on tomorrow. She most likely will be. But, and then I'm not going to be here on Friday. So I will broadcast on Thursday, but I will not be broadcasting on Friday because we will be en route to Kerrville by the time this comes around, unless I just broadcast live from the road, but I don't think I'll do that. So with that, I want to say bye. I love you. It is important to know you are loved. You are very much loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you for the therapy. I had a particularly good therapeutic day yesterday with y'all, so I appreciate that. Cheers. Yum. And don't shoot yourself to death. Take care of yourself. Don't freak yourself out. Just say, so what? So what if something happens? And with that, I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say bye?